The RC Plus 2 has a couple of tricks that even experienced enterprise pilots overlook. And today, the Matrice 4E is going to make that very obvious. Cruise control and terrain follow look simple at first glance, but once you start using them in real missions, they behave in a way that will generally surprise you. And here's the interesting part. Those quirks aren't problems, they're opportunities. Once you understand why the system behaves the way it does, you can use these features to tighten your workflow, reduce pilot workload, and make the tasking far more consistent and repeatable. So, in this video, I'm going to show you the hidden logic, the unexpected moments, and how to turn these anomalies into real operational advantages. When you take off, you will want to try and make sure that you take off from the ground, not from the top of your car or from the palm of your hand or anything that's higher than the ground. This just helps to ensure that the drone knows as exact as possible its elevation above the ground. So here we are, we're going to start our cruise control mission, and there's quite a few interesting features and anomalies that you need to be aware of with this. What you will need to know is where the C1 button is, and that's on the back left of the remote control, which you'll see in the picture. You'll also need to know where the C4 roller wheel is, and that is below your zoom wheel that you use all the time to go in and out. It's that little wheel that no one ever uses, but we're going to use it today. In order to start our cruise control, what we'll need to do is press the cruise button on the left hand side of the remote. Once there, the next thing you will need to do is move the right hand stick forward ever so slightly. And as you can see on the remote control, it's giving us our speed in meters per second. And at the moment, we're just at about 1.1 meters a second. Once you're happy with your speed, simply click the C1 button. And that's it. Your speed is now locked in for that forward motion. It's going forwards at 1.3, 1.4 meters a second and just keeping itself at 43 meters, which is what the drone was at before. And this is really useful because you can easily zoom in with your scroll wheel as the drone is flying, or you can use our favorite buttons, the R1 button, to cycle through the cameras. And then the R2 button to take yourself back. The C4 button will help you in your cruise control if you're inspecting a railway, a bridge, a route, footpath, tops of trees. What you will want to do is move the roller wheel to the right ever so slightly until it clicks, and then you can click again. And as you see, you are fine-tuning your speed to about 0.1 of a meter. So it's 2 clicks to go up 0.1 of a meter. So now we're at 1.7 meters in speed. If I wanted to go faster, I can move it even further, and we're going to fly now at 2.6 meters per second. If I want to go slower, just move it all the way to the left. This means that you don't have to fiddle around with the right hand control stick and then press the C1 button again to lock in your speed. You can just fine tune it with the roller wheel, which is really interesting. Now let me tell you some anomalies with this roller wheel. We know that when we go forward, the roller wheel works perfectly well. So I'm now going to come out of cruise control. If I want to cruise control to the left, I'm going to press cruise, and I'm going to move the right hand joystick ever so slightly to the left, and then press the C1 button. What you'll see is we're just moving at about 1 meters a second to the left. If you use the C4 roller, which I am now, the drone will stop and it will move to the right. Right? That's an anomaly. It's not slowing down the speed that you're flying left, it's just got to move the drone to the right. I'm going to press pause there. If I go into reverse, so I push the right hand control stick back and I press the C1 button. Now what I want to do is see if I can slow it down with the C4 roller. What I will do now is move the C4 roller, and what happens? The drone stops and the drone flies forwards. So at the moment, when the drone flies to the left and to the reverse in cruise control, don't use the C4 wheel, because that will just take it into the opposite direction. We know that in the forward position, when you use the C4 wheel, the drone will speed up or slow down as you wish. I'm now going to move the drone to the right, and we're going to lock in our speed by pressing the C1 button. So just on the right hand control stick, I'm going to move it to the right and then press the C1 button. And we now have that locked in. What happens if I use the C4 roller? It actually increases the speed to the right. I'm going to press pause there. So the cruise control is very stable. When we go forwards, it goes forwards at a constant speed. When we go back, it goes back at a constant speed. And when we go left, it goes at a constant speed. And when we go right, it goes at a constant speed. What we need to remember is with the C4 button, when you are flying forwards or you are flying right, your C4 roller will work and it will do as it's designed to do. However, if you are flying to the left or you are flying in reverse, your C4 button will not adjust the speed of the drone. What it will do is take the drone in the opposite direction. I will notify DJI of this and see if there is something that they can do. What we're going to look at now is the terrain follow, which is really interesting. There's a lot of great features with this that you can use. And we're going to take the drone up now. At the moment we're at 5 meters, so in order to stop the beeping, we're going to take ourselves up to about 20 meters. The beeping for that is because I have my obstacle avoidance warning on. That takes it out to 16 meters. Now we're just hovering here at 20 meters. And what I want to do is try the terrain follow, which is where the drone will follow the terrain beneath it. What you need to do is click on the 3 buttons on the left hand side of the remote and then click terrain follow. And this will happen. You need to be between 30 and 200 meters above the ground in order for you to activate terrain follow. So we're going to take ourselves up at the moment to just over 30 meters. So let's take ourselves up to 37 meters. There we are. So we're going to take ourselves up to 37 meters there. And when you look on the visual sensor, that's great. We've got a really good view of the ground beneath the drone. And remember, you can press and hold any one of those white arrows in order to lock that vision in place. So if I'm flying the drone forwards, I'll get the forward display. But what I'm really interested in is what's below the drone. So I'm going to press and hold that double arrow so we can see what's below us. And we can see it's lovely and clear. So let's go back onto the camera view. In order to enable terrain follow, we are above 37 meters from the ground. I'm now going to press the 3 dots on the left hand side and I'm going to click on terrain follow. There we are. So above takeoff level, we've got 37 meters. According to the drone, it's 33 meters that it's going to keep that distance above the terrain. Now, in order to start off, what you will want to do is just move the control stick on the right hand side just forward nice and slowly, and we're going to fly at about 2 meters a second, and something interesting is going to happen. So we're at about 37, 38 meters above the ground, and it's relatively flat. However, there's grass, so there's quite long grass, so the drone might be reading some of that. As we come over, to where we have trees, what you will find is that the drone now rises. It's rising up to 42 meters. It's rising up again to 43 and 44 and so on to keep itself 33 meters above basically any solid object on the ground. And we're just going to come to a gap here. It's just got that tree there, so actually it's keeping itself there. And we move ourselves straight forward, and again, it's adjusting itself for how high the trees are. And that's really interesting. So let me show you another little feature which will be interesting to you when you start your terrain follow mission. We're going to take the drone back now, and again, we're still looking down. So with the visual sensor, we're going all the way down. And we're flying back, not really to where we started, but just before. So just before where we started, what you'll see is we have trees. Now the altitude of the drone now is 51 meters. It's keeping that distance 33 meters above basically the closest solid object to the Earth. What I want to do is take ourselves off of terrain follow. So click on the green circle with the black cross and you take yourself out of it. So what I'm going to do now is take ourselves down to maybe something along the lines of 35 meters above takeoff level. So we're just going to take ourselves down to 41 and sort of get ourselves into that sort of 35 meter range. And this is really interesting. On the down arrow, when we look on the vision sensor, there we are, we've got some trees below us. Come back to the camera view, and we're just going to flip the gimbal down. So we're going to press on the little aircraft on the right hand side and the bottom arrow, which will take your gimbal vertically down, as the lady said. Now I'm going to press, which is all of our favourite button, which is the laser rangefinder, which is in the top left hand corner. It's activated. Now this is interesting. Above takeoff we are 35 meters, as you see there. However, the laser rangefinder is finding that between the aircraft and the closest solidest piece of matter below it, we are 25 meters. So if I click on the three dots and terrain follow, we've got that warning. We're not actually 30 meters above what is the closest solid object, let's say, to the aircraft. We are actually 25 meters. So what you want to do is either not take off above trees or any structures, but from open land, or take yourself up. Let's say we'll give ourselves a bit of clearance. We're going to take ourselves up to 35 meters. We'll take ourselves off the laser rangefinder and click back. We can take our gimbal recenter and just have it horizontal, and I'll push ourselves down just a little bit. And there you can see on the vision assist, we are directly above those trees, and we are now at an altitude of 45.5 meters. So I'm going to click on the three dots and terrain follow. And there we have it. We can now start our terrain follow even though we've activated it above trees, because we have ensured that we are actually over 30 meters above the trees or the structure that you might be starting off. So when you do start a terrain mission, you might find, why is it not activating? I know that I'm 30 meters, 35 meters above the ground. But if you're hovering above a building or above a little mound or a hill, then actually you are not 30 meters above the ground as the drone sees it for a terrain follow. Now what we're going to do here is touch on cruise control and terrain follow, and this is great. So again, what we will want to do is click on the three dots. Yep, make sure that we've got the terrain follow, yes, and we're going to click on the cruise button. Excellent. We're just going to move the right hand stick forward slightly, and we're going to press the C1 button. And here we have it. So we're now in cruise control, at 38.9 meters above the ground, or above the most solid object that it sees. We're going to lock in that visual sensor so you can see, yes, excellent, we are 39 meters above the ground. Let's do a split screen, shall we? By pressing the R3 button. There we are. So now what we have is we're above the trees now. So the drone is going up, as you can see on the right hand side, and the camera's facing forwards. We're at 44.1 meters, keeping ourselves with a distance of 33 meters above the closest object to the ground. I will press the reverse button. So we come back, and I will press the C1 button so that we are just in cruise control. So here we are 44 meters above the closest solid object on the ground. It might read that little gap just below the drone. We'll see if anything happens. No, I think it's just because it's so small. But now the trees are getting lower, and we are now coming back over the flat field. So you see the drone will now automatically lower itself. Now that split screen I have there, I press the R3 button, and that's new. So that's really good, that is. And it actually tells you in the top, on the left hand side, you're looking at the zoom ×1. And on the right hand side, you're looking at the downward visual sensor. So rather than having to switch between those screens to get the larger one, you've managed to get both of them on the remote control at the same time. And again, we're continuing just to fly backwards. We're rising up now because it's sensing the trees. We're at 43 meters now. Just going up a bit further, 44 meters. And it's keeping that distance that we told it. And those trees are generally 10 meters high or so, which is excellent. And press R3 to come out of the split screen. And then we can just press the pause button. This altitude test with the laser rangefinder will blow your socks off. The drone at the moment is 36.8 meters above takeoff level. The laser rangefinder sees that the land is 37.1 meters away. As I now walk under the laser rangefinder crosshairs, that's changing. Now the altitude of the drone to the closest solid matter on Earth, which is me, is 35.8 meters. And that's really accurate because I'm actually about 1.5, 1.7 meters tall. And that is the amazing thing with a laser rangefinder, and why we could not take off on the terrain follow originally. That's everything you need to know about how cruise control and terrain follow really behave in Matrice 4, and how to turn these quirks into real workflow advantages. If you want to go deeper into enterprise flight logic, mission planning, or RC Plus 2 techniques, I've linked several related videos on the channel. Dive into these next and keep building your edge as an enterprise pilot.